So, there have been a ton of rumors about Charlie Cox coming into Spider-Man 3 as Daredevil, and a few days ago, just for fun, I decided to rewatch a few episodes of Daredevil. And wow, it's just so spectacular. We really didn't deserve the show. But one thing that caught my eye were the action scenes. To elaborate, when I was watching them, they didn't feel overly flashy, or that they were just there to fill in time, or to make that viewer feel less bored. The action scenes here serve a purpose. Now, some of you may be asking the question, yeah, idiot, why does that surprise you? Of course the action scenes matter. And yeah, you're right, it shouldn't, but a little while ago I just finished watching The Mandalorian. I think you already know where I'm going with this, and I'm gonna get like a million dislikes and people hating me, but it's kind of true. The Mandalorian has a lot of action, and it's really entertaining action, but they don't really matter all that much, and they're really long sequences that feel like they're just there to fill in time. So today I'm going to be comparing two action scenes, one simple one and one very flashy action-packed one from Daredevil and The Mandalorian. But before I get started, I just want to say if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Alright, let's get into it. Let's start with the simple ones first. Daredevil Season 3, Episode 1. In this scene, we have a very simple action scene about a broken Daredevil, and I'm gonna give some brief background for context. Before this scene, we have Matt desperately trying to get back to his old self, despite needing to recover from critical wounds. He decides to box some random guy, and he gets beat up even more and loses. After this, he goes out looking for even more trouble despite having been beaten up and having a building dropped on top of him. This visually shows to us his state of mind, this being that Daredevil is an addiction. He can't help himself but fight these people. He eventually loses to these thugs again, which further cements his depression and shows that once he was able to help these two innocent people, he was pretty content with just dying. This action scene serves as a way to show us physically where he is, which is very bad, and mentally where he's at, which is depressed and suicidal. To top it off, there are very specific details which will lead into the next episode. In this scene, we can see this guy trying to choke Matt out using this scented wrap. Due to Matt's heightened smell, he's able to track them down and confirm he's at the right place in the next episode. And Matt tries to bend this guy's wrist as a counterattack, and he notices a distinct detail about him, that he's missing a finger. So Matt makes sure to shake this guy's hand once he gets in the building so he can confirm this is the thug that beat him up. It shows that he has to rely on these small things and details because his heightened senses have been really dampened. Therefore, if you skip this scene, you're missing extremely crucial stuff, and you'd be confused as to what's happening in the next episode. Now, let's move on to a simple Mandalorian action scene. Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 7. In this scene, Mando is attacked by pirates who are randomly trying to blow up his tank. This is an exciting action scene, but it doesn't really matter and nothing crucial actually happens here. Mando doesn't get injured, he doesn't learn anything from these pirates attacking him, nothing. It exists solely to entertain you so that it's not simply Mando and Bill Burr's character driving to the base. You really can just skip it and go to the part where they arrive at the base and you literally would have missed nothing narratively. Now, onto a more flashy action-heaven scene in Daredevil. Daredevil Season 3, Episode 4. In this scene, we have an 11.5-minute one-take that's extremely impressive. But that's also an insanely long action scene, so if nothing happens plot-wise, then you effectively just have 12 minutes of skippable content. Thankfully, it's very crucial to the plot. To start off, we learn how much power Fisk has in the prison, making the situation much more hopeless to take him down. And we learn that Fisk suspects Matt as being Daredevil, and he sort of just set him up here to see what he's truly capable of, so we can capture it on camera and frame Matt. That's very crucial. And to top it off, Matt is doing all this action for a purpose: to find information that can take down Fisk. He learns from the Albanians that he needs to find a man named Jasper Evans so that he can testify against Fisk and they can put him back in jail. This sets up the next 2 episodes, so this is very important to the plot. Now, on to The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 6. In this action scene we have Boba Fett, Fennec, and the Mandalorian brutally massacring stormtroopers. You know that battle at the end of the Revenge of the Sith where Obi-Wan fights Anakin? Yeah, this is very similar. To elaborate, the battle at the end of Revenge of the Sith is absolutely stunning, and most people's complaints, mine included, is that there's basically no dialogue to build up the tension or spread throughout. It's just pure action for the sake of it. I mean, again, it looks extremely cool, but it's way too long and the tension isn't really there. This action scene in Mando is about 8 to 9 minutes of just pure action. That's really long. The problem with it is that not a lot of new stuff happens. It's just stormtroopers repeatedly getting murdered, and the only thing you need to know by the end of it is that they lose Baby Yoda. To compare this to the prison scene, both of these are very long sequences, but the Mandalorian one just doesn't have as much tension because we can clearly see the stormtroopers are no match for our protagonist anyway. Meanwhile, in the prison scene, we see our protagonist having trouble with just 3 regular inmates. So one clearly has a lot of tension, intrigue, and consequence, and while the Mandalorian scene does have consequence, its tension and intrigue is really low, and the scene is drawn out way too long despite the action being well directed. So that concludes this video essay. Do you guys agree with my points? Do you disagree? Either way, I'd like to know your opinions in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, it'd mean a lot if you could leave a like and subscribe. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.